Alright, continue where we left off from last vid. I had to stop because of dinner. We can talk about Spider-Woman here. Now, one thing I did not get a chance to mention here is the time period these issues came out in. May of 1980 to June 1981, which means, with this particular book, I'll have roughly 12 issues up to go to review for this whole entire book. Now, in the case of the opening issue of this book, this book covers issues 26 to 38 in case you forgot. 26 mostly put is Spider-Man versus a couple characters, one named Grinder, and you're thinking, Grinder? Wait, you mean the character from DC Comics? A completely unrelated character. Yeah, he appears like 2 times in this book, and then he appears in the opening issue of Nova Volume 3, and that was it for him. Yeah, his next appearance, that issue for Nova, that came out in 1989, so his next appearance at this very book would not be for 19 years. And then, of course, you have Ruba Daiquiri, who's just basically this evil person who appears in this issue. And then we have next 3 issues, we have Spider-Man versus the Enforcer. Yes, this is the second Enforcer, because the original one got killed off in issue 21 of Ghost Rider. This actually was his very next appearance. Like, right after he appeared in Ghost Rider, he pretty much popped up in this book for 3 issues. Well, he previously appeared in Spider number 19, where he basically was working for the committee, and of course we have Wear Up by Night. His previous appearance was actually in Ghost Rider 24. Yep. And then pretty much right after this 3-parter wraps up, this is the last time Spider-Man will fight the Enforcer. He would not actually appear in the book again. Not that I can think of, no. Because right after appearing in issue 29, next appears in Ghost Rider, which I'll talk about that one. Don't worry about that. Yeah, we also have her team up with Spider-Man in these issues, which is awesome. And then issue 30 happens. 30 is the debut of a character named Carl Malus. Some of you thinking, who the heck is Carl Malus? He's one of Marvel's mad scientist characters who has appeared very sporadically over the years. I mean, his most noteworthy appearance he made in comics when he popped up in Superior Carnage. Yes, where briefly this man became host of the Carnage symbiote. And his most recent appearance was actually in the Ravencroft miniseries. Yep. Yeah, he's not that big of a character per se, but this book is his debut. Also, Spider-Man takes on the Fly for a couple issues. And then he next appears in Moon Knight, like right after these couple issues. Yeah, so after this issue, he appears next in Moon Knight. After taking on Carl Marcus for 3 straight issues. Oh, by the way, he just working with the name Scotty McDowell becomes basically a monster named the Hornet. Also, we had the return of the Wear Up by Night, which he always pops up in Ghost Rider. I'll talk about him next Comic Corner, believe it or not. Yep. Carl Marlis, like right after issue 32, he next pops up in Iron Man number 7. Yep, and then for the next 2 issues, well, first we have Turn of the Century, a character who next appeared in Marvel Team Up. Yep, and the first appearance of Morgan McKell Hardy, who next appearance popped up in Captain America. Yep, and then in 34 and 35, we have a 2-part guest star appearance in here by Anger the Screamer, who last appeared in Daredevil. Yeah, Spider-Man just happens to find, like, aren't you Anger the Screamer? He's like, yes, I am Angar. He fights in the very next issue, then he's gone. I thought this was interesting, the fact we have a character who is quite interesting, the fact that a character who just fought Daredevil fights the new character Spider-Woman for at least for 2 issues. Oh, and also, basically with 35, Spider-Woman had been living in LA for a little while, probably since her debut. She's living in LA, and she basically leaves town to a new place. Presumably she goes someplace else in California. Or she goes to San Francisco with her best friend Lindsay McCabe. Yeah, who, by the way, first appeared issue 14 of this very book. And yeah, and she is here for the entire run. And would constantly appear as basically like a psychic for her. until, like, she even appeared in the most recent Spider-Man book. I know she's going to appear in the upcoming one, so after Stan she fights Evil Mayor. And then in issues 37, 38, she fights the Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy. Plus, we have another brand new character. Who is it? Siren! Banshee's daughter. Yep. So we have another new character. So we have two brand new characters. One of whom is still very much an important character in the Marvel Universe. The other one's not that big of a character anyways. And of course, that wraps up here. But these issues in particular are really, really good. Nothing's bad here per se. So with the very next comic corner talking about this particular book, I will be officially wrapping up this volume. Now you're probably thinking, is this book replaced with anything? Yes. This book will be replaced by the third volume for the series, and then doing 2 mini-series for Spider-Woman, and that's it. Those 2 mini-series being Spider-Man Origin and Spider-Man Volume 4. Once I review all 3 of these books, I'll be done with Spider-Woman. Now, Volume 3 of this, I'll talk about that when I finish talking about this next comic corner, but I've just been thoroughly enjoying reading Spider-Woman per se. She's a character who should get a little more love, and for some reason, like, the 5th issue of the most recent volume for the series was deemed issue 100 for the character. Now, some of you might be asking, Nick, why did you decide to do the whole classic review stuff, like reviewing some Spider-Woman? Well, because we're bringing back Spider-Woman, and I reviewed pretty much the last 3 volumes that have been released for the series. So, what? And of course, I have reviewed Volume 2 already, so I don't have to worry about that. So, I decided, why not review the first volume, which is Collect Tomorrow Masterworks. And when I talk about Volume 3, that's going to be quite interesting to talk about, because that volume is not as long as this one per se, but it's the thing with Jessica Drew. It's like, okay, so with her numbering, you have the 50-issue first volume. Okay, you have the Spider-Woman Origin mini-series, which I think is like, let's see, how long is that one? Spider-Man Origin is 5 issues, which brings it to 55 issues. Okay. Plus 7, that's like 63. For Volume 5, that's 10 issues, which brings it to 73. I'm thinking, okay. And then you have the Volume 6, which is 17 issues. You're thinking, okay, that only brings it to 90. And I'm like, okay, so... And then, like, issue 5 is, like, issue 100. Now, somebody thinking, how the heck is that possible? That's only, like, 95 issues. I mean, it is quite weird when Marvel did that. Because Marvel just said, oh, we have issue 100 for Spider-Woman. And the thing is... Marvel has never gone out to say what issues, like, if you read Spider-Man number 5, like, because normally when they do these 100 issues, usually they have, like, list of all the comics they consider part of the numbering. But for Spider-Woman, they just didn't do that at all. Like, even if you add up the books basically featuring her as Spider-Woman, you're like, this is confusing. Because 50, 55, plus 7... that is 63. You're thinking, okay, 10, that's volume 5. That brings it up to about 73. The 17 issues of the 6th volume for the series. That only brings the issue 90. And issue 5 of the previous volume, that only brings it to 95 issues. So... and you add it up like... that's not 100. What the hell else did they include a part of numbering? Well, they included Giant and Spider-Man part of numbering. Like, okay, but that only brings to 96. Like, what are we missing here? Like, is there any books missing for Spider-Man per se that Marvel considered part of numbering? Because I'm sure, because from I've heard, they do consider Spider-Woman, the Origin book, that part of numbering. And you're thinking, okay, so anyways, so you're like, okay, so what exactly is kind of part of this numbering? Well, there is also the Spider Woman one shot for Spider Island. Okay, but that brings in 97. So, is there anything else kind of part of numbering for Spider Woman? Uh, they might consider Spider Woman Alpha and Omega as part of numbering. Possibly you conclude that, but honestly, I have no idea. It's a bit confusing, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Heck, there was an Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man one-shot, but that I highly doubt the count part of numbering. Yeah, I don't think so. So, Nick, are you just basically just shooting up nothing? Yes, I'm basically just saying that these books basically just it's just spitballing here what books come out of numbering, so there's that. So that's the pretty much a particular review. Next up is going to be the review of the final episode for season 2 for Devil is a Part-Timer. And with the next comic corners, these next two are quite interesting to talk about. Because the first comic corner will be discussing more issues of Ghost Rider Volume 2, along with some more Wear by Night. And the following comic corner will be Cable Deadpool and Web of Spider-Man. Yep, next video.